We, Ivona Kanyak, Melissa Pacheco, and Sadie Piran, as students of the CICC Specialization Program, created a mock recording for assessment for an IAD hearing at the Immigration Division for the IAD Part 1. Ivona Kanyak and Melissa Pacheco will be the co-counselors, and Sadie Piran will be the client, Philip Torres. Here we start with Ivona for her examination. Good morning. Philip, would you please let us know when did you come to Canada and what was your status?
I landed on October 23, 2013 as a permanent resident in Canada.
Thank you. When you came to Canada, in which category did you get your permanent resident?
I was accepted as a skilled worker.
Thank you. Philip, please tell us about your daughter Marcela and your wife Diana.
Actually, my daughter Marcela was born on May 20 of May 2008, and my wife died when my daughter was 4 years old on June 20, 2012.
Oh, that's really sad. Thank you.
Thank you.
Why did you not bring your daughter Marcela to Canada, and what was the reason?
After my wife passed away, my situation changed a lot, and if I would bring my daughter to Canada, I would be the only person to work and take care of my daughter. Immigrating to a new country is very challenging, and for example, finding accommodation or finding a job in a new country is so hard. So I decided to first settle myself in the new country in Canada, and then bring my daughter to Canada.
Thank you. Would you please explain who is taking care of your daughter now?
Now I'm taking care of my daughter.
Okay, thank you. Why did you choose to have your grandmother look after your daughter Marcela?
Because my grandmother, who I loved her very much, looked after me and my sibling after my parents died in an accident. So she's actually our guardian after our parents died, and I loved her, and she was very kind to me and my daughters. So she's like my mother, actually.
Okay, thank you. Philip, do you have other siblings in your family?
Yes, I have two sisters, Anna and Maria.
Thank you. Would you please tell us why they are not taking care, or why they did not take care of your grandmother?
My grandmother only had me and my sisters. So my sister Anna lives in London in England, and she has 3 little children. And Maria lives in Portugal, and she has also 2 children, and she was pregnant on that time. And now she has 3 children. So they were too busy and they couldn't take care of my grandmother, because they live in another country and they had children to take care. Also, someone, my grandmother took care of my daughter on that time, and because of that, I should take care of my grandmother and also my daughter who lives with my grandmother.
Okay, thank you. Please tell us how you established your life in Canada.
I was in Canada, I established myself with a good job, working as IT specialist at the Nikon company in Ontario. So I paid my tax and invest in a property that I bought with my girlfriend on that time.
Okay, thank you. What happened when Maria, your sister, went to Brazil to visit your grandmother?
In March 2015, yes, Maria went to Brazil for 2 weeks to visit my grandmother. During her stay, she realized that her grandmother was diagnosed with cancer. She informed me about the grandmother's illness and explained to me that she would need some help and constant care. So she also told me that my daughter was very upset with all of these things because she lived with my grandmother. So she asked me to go to Brazil and take care of her grandmother and also be with my daughter.
Thank you very much, Philip. And
Yeah.
please allow me to ask my friend Melissa, do you have any questions for Philip?
Yes. So, Philip, how did you react to this, and what did you do?
I was very sad when I heard that my grandmother was ill. So I went to Brazil on March 17, 2015 to take care of my grandmother and also my daughter.
Well, that's nice of you. And just asking, Philip, on what terms did you leave your job?
First, I got leave from my work for 3 months. Then when I was in Brazil, I didn't have a choice to return as I decided to take care of my grandmother. So I requested another 3 months leave from my work. And then after that also I had to get another 3 months again for leave. Unfortunately, on December 19, 2015, my company sent an email for the termination of my job, which email is enclosed with my document provided.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you. Did you have any properties in Canada?
I had an apartment that I bought with my girlfriend. After such a long time of stay in Brazil to take care of my grandmother, she sent me an email that she has another boyfriend. So because I was away from her for too long, so she then told me that we should sell our property.
Oh, I see. I'm sorry to hear that. Did you receive any notification in regards to your daughter's sponsorship at that time?
I don't know what happened, but it seems that Sadie has been blocked, or so maybe I will provide the further answers. Immigration Canada sent me a letter to notify me that my daughter's sponsorship was finalized and COPR issued back in 2016. I applied for my daughter when I was in Canada and finally felt established enough that I could raise my daughter with me in Canada. But by then, I was already in Brazil taking care of my grandmother. I was so busy with being my grandmother's caregiver and taking care of my daughter that I could not follow up on the permanent residency for my daughter.
Thank you, Philip. Philip, are you here?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I don't know why it's disconnected.
Technical difficulties, it happens. It's not a big problem. So I have another question, 15. Why did you wait until 2019 to apply for your PRTD?
One second, because okay. When my grandmother passed away in February 2018, I want to come back to Canada right away. But it was very hard for my daughter and for me to continue to live where we lost such an important person in our life. So the memories and the reality were so hard. I had put all of my saving to take care of my grandmother and my daughter. And because of that situation, I had no money left. Furthermore, my ex-girlfriend, Rosemary, told me she had no money to pay me off. So we agreed to sell the condo. It took time, and the sale of the condo was finalized in May 2019, I think. I was waiting for documents so that I could sign the sale of the condo and get my part. Once I got the money from the selling the condo, I applied right away for PRTD.
Oh, well, that's understandable. Well, let me ask you, if you were to return to Canada, do you feel you would be established upon arrival?
Yes, if I am given the chance to regain my status along with my daughter, I feel I can be reestablished very quickly because I have a strong skill set and I was able to obtain PR with those merits. So my previous employer always understand my situation, and I believe I can get re-employed at my previous company or use my previous established connection to gain employment quickly. So I will also be able to use the proceeds of the sale of my condo to purchase another property, and my daughter me and my daughter to residing together. My daughter is very smart and kind, which will help with adjusting to school. She was very excited before joining me in Canada. I want to give the best future for my daughter and not have her be depressed because our grandmother passed away. Being away from these reminders will help her also.
So this is the end of our part 1 recording, and now Melissa will do part 2, where the counsel for the client will make a submission to the member.
Madam Member, in light of the totality of the evidence and all the circumstances of this case, I believe that there are sufficient positive elements in this case to justify special relief for the appellant. The appellant spent years taking care of his sick grandmother and daughter. Unfortunately, the appellant has lost the most important support he had in his life, being his de facto mother. The time taking care of his critically ill grandmother, and in the end, the loss of his grandmother, has had a significant impact on his person and moreover, his daughter. The physical and mental well-being of this child needs to have a positive bearing on the member's decision in regards to humanitarian and compassionate grounds being presented, which is the best interest of the child. Furthermore, the applicant has lost an opportunity for a much better life in Canada because the visa officer refused the applicant's application for a PRTD. A negative decision for the appellant would be a punishment for doing the right thing. In addition, the appellant has concrete plans to settle in Canada. His special skill set, knowledge, and expertise will be a major contribution to Canada. While the appellant appreciates that the Canadian PR is convenient to use as needed, he is fully committed to fulfilling his residency obligation to Canada, immigration, and society going forward. He is fully committed to marking Canada his home and to bringing all his financial assets to Canada, in addition to his knowledge, expertise, and experience. With that being said, I would like Madam Member to take into account the SHARA standard, which states humanitarian and compassionate considerations are to be taken to be those facts established by evidence, which would excite in a reasonable man in a civilized community a desire to relieve the misfortunes of another. So as long as these misfortunes warrant the granting of special relief from the effect of the provisions of the Immigration Act. In conclusion, we ask Madam Member to allow the appeal in regards to Section 4 of the Act on residency obligations under Section 28 of the Act. Thank you, Madam Member, kindly for your time.
Thank you.